Coming up, the top of Splash Mountain is reduced to rubble as Disney reimagines it into Tiana's Bayou Adventure. The first Harmonious taco barge is finally removed from the World Showcase Lagoon at Epcot, and the castle moat is drained at the Magic Kingdom as Disney prepares to remove the 50th anniversary decorations. And we'll see what else they do as far as the paint goes and all of that with the Rose Gold Castle. All that and more on the way. This is Mickey Views News.
All who come to this happy place, welcome.
Now I'm the king of the swingers, oh, the jungle VIP. I've reached the top and had to stop, and that's what's bothering me.
First up in the news, yesterday morning, I headed over to the Magic Kingdom bright and early to get you guys the latest, most up-to-date look at the demolition currently happening at Splash Mountain, something happening nightly as well as some days even during guest hours. Now, I haven't done rope drop, which is when you get there before the park is actually open, in a long time. I did it for the 50th back on October 1st, 2021, but that was a special occasion sort of thing. The last regular day at the Magic Kingdom that I think I did rope drop was way back in 2012, if you can believe it, where I filmed the opening show here for the Mickey Views YouTube channel. I've been doing this a long time, you guys. Anyways, they used to have the train come in with all the characters. It was a really, really cool show, and they'd have the fire marshal or the mayor, one of the citizens of Main Street actually opened the park. It was so cool. Unfortunately, a while back, they ended up getting rid of that for logistical reasons. Now the way it works is instead of all the guests being corralled right at the train station, you can just head right down Main Street and take your photos at the hub, go check out the castle, all of that before the park even opens at 9 a.m., which is when the park was opening the day I was there. So at 8:30, you could go walk down Main Street, you could go, look at stuff. So now the way rope drop works, the area where guests are corralled is at the entrances to the lands themselves. So there's plenty of room for guests. They can go hang out in all the middle area, and then there are basically crowds at the entrances to the lands, wherever you might want to go hit your first ride. So here you can see a crowd waiting to enter Adventureland, and then once it became 9 o'clock, guests were allowed to head into the themed lands of the Magic Kingdom. I'm not actually sure where these guests were headed because they were all going one way through Adventureland, and I headed the other way. I was the only person who did so because I was cutting over to Frontierland because I thought it was about time that we take a look at what on earth Disney is doing to Splash Mountain here. This poor iconic attraction. It was one of my favorites, I'll tell you guys, and now they are taking out sledgehammers and they are ripping into the facade, doing all sorts of work as they remove the previous Song of the South based theme and characters and transform it into a Tiana attraction, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, of course from Princess and the Frog. As you can see right now, scaffolding goes as high as Splash itself. They are doing work all over this thing, starting off with the most notable stuff right at the top. They've removed Splash Mountain's visual focal point, drawing you towards the attraction, what Walt Disney called a weenie, something sort of in the distance that attracts your attention and basically brings you further into the land. The dead tree that you had at the top of Chickapin Hill, I believe as it's called, at the attraction, that is being removed. Every night they are chipping pieces of it off. Every day when you go into the park, it's lower and lower and lower. Soon that tree and the tree roots, all of it is going to be completely gone because as we can see in the latest concept for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the current plan is to simply have a flat hill with no visual centerpiece on the top at all. And then lower down, they are adding a small water tower, which is branded to the theme of the attraction. Now, I can tell you guys, as a matter of fact, I know based on our Imagineering sources and everything like that, this attraction has faced a very limited budget. This is one of those deals where Disney promised that they'd update the attraction. They basically tarnished the reputation of the previous attraction, said, yeah, no, it's terrible. We're going to update the attraction. So now they're just obligated to get it done. And that's concerned me because we want this to be a good attraction, right? I don't want to see Disney rush it or not put a lot of money into it. But it does seem like the money thing is an issue here, where as I've told you guys in the past, many of the existing animatronics are going to be removed. Very few are being added. We're going to see a lot of things, more modern sort of stuff like projectors, all those sorts of things instead of physical practical sets because they are limited on funds. So that might be why the original plan that we saw for this attraction of putting Mama Odie's tree on the top is no longer happening. That looked quite cool, I will say. Another possible reason why maybe Disney abandoned that plan in particular could have to do with the boat itself generating wind resistance, because when it's just the dead tree, obviously it's just a cylinder, so there's not going to be much wind resistance. But once you put on the boat, you might sort of create a wind sail there. You guys know how Florida is. We saw with the Novacore ship at Guardians of the Galaxy, the concept versus the reality over there in Epcot. They ended up having to put this enormous unsightly support under the Novacore ship, and that's because it has to be able to withstand hurricane force winds in Central Florida. More likely though, with this Mama Odie's tree thing, I get the impression it's the same story as a lot of what we've seen with Disney lately, where it's budget, budget, budget. They don't have the necessary budget. They don't even want to do a new attraction or an attraction update or anything like that, but they said they're going to do it, so they're just trying to get it done here. So much of this update, it isn't actually about adding things to make the ride different, because that costs a lot of money. A lot of this update is about removing things that are currently in the attraction to make the ride look different, and that includes the tree on the top here, which is obviously a cheaper way to go about doing it. As I said, with the animatronics, a lot of those are being removed to reduce future maintenance costs, for example, and much of the existing Splash Mountain sets, they're actually staying because there aren't the funds to completely redo all of those, so some of those will be staying during the inside portion of the attraction that we cannot see. Also on the Splash facade here, you'll see other areas where Disney has sledgehammered through the themed facade through the walkwork. They are doing this to access utilities from the original ride that need to be changed or manipulated in some way. That's the latest on the visual progress we can see here at Splash right now. Disney is working quite fast here because crews working on this update out at Walt Disney World in the future will be headed over to Disneyland to start work on that one as well. There's no official closing date for Splash in Disneyland just yet, but I do believe it is not super far off. Disney has suggested late 2024 for when the Walt Disney World Tiana attraction will open, but based on the rate of work we are seeing here, I do believe that this work could be done sooner. There are some possible holdups. For example, Disney is adding a few new animatronics to this attraction, and Disney's been having a lot of issues, supply chain issues, with sourcing animatronic parts, which are obviously very proprietary and unique. So barring any unforeseen stuff like that, I do think we could see Tiana's Bayou Adventure at Walt Disney World open earlier than the late 2024 timeframe Disney has provided in the past, based on the current rate of work, which at least on the outside is quite impressive. In fact, I believe they're already starting to patch up some of those holes with new rockwork mesh there, as you can see, so we'll keep an eye on all of that. Also in the Magic Kingdom today, over by Cinderella Castle, in the water below the walkways you'll spot some dams that have been installed, some temporary dams, and the castle moat, the water level, it's noticeably low. It's getting quite low. That is because Disney is in the process of draining the moat so their boom arm vehicles can set up at the bottom of Cinderella Castle in the moat there and remove the decor from the 50th anniversary currently on the castle. In a previous update, I told you Walt Disney World's leadership, they are hoping that they don't have to go through the whole expense of completely repainting the entire castle. They have to source and pay contracted labor to do all of that, and their time is expensive. So the executives' hope is when this decor comes off, there are no scars. And if there are scars that are left on the castle because this decor was blocking it from the Florida sun for the last 18 months, they can patch up those parts real cheap, and they can leave the Rose Gold Castle as is for many years and not have to worry about that expense for a long time. Now, I am opposed to that plan of action because the Rose Gold Castle is the 50th. It was made for the 50th. So the 50th is over. It's a basic rule in marketing, in business. You don't keep the celebration going on forever. You don't keep the year-end sale at the car dealership going on, till June or something like that. It doesn't make sense, right? The 50th is over. Get rid of the 50th stuff. Now, in a previous video, some people were saying, no, Brayden, Disney said that the Rose Gold Castle was for the 70th anniversary of Cinderella, and just the decor is what makes it the 50th. Well, it is true that Disney said that, but it's not true because it was basically due to timing issues that Disney had to paint the castle for the 50th early. So they did the actual paint work much earlier than the 50th itself. And then when they put the 50th decor on, they said, okay, it's the 50th castle. But all of that was for the 50th. It was all for the 50th. The Rose Gold Castle was Imagineering's idea of what to do with the castle for the 50th anniversary. The bigger reason that I'd like to see the castle go back to the stone color is because I believe that it helps achieve the forced perspective look that Imagineers created here with Cinderella Castle in the first place. It was intended to have that very light, almost off-white color going on much of the castle, because what that does is it helps the castle look much larger as well as further away from you than it really is. And I suspect the reason this visual effect works is because it almost simulates if there was fog between you and the castle or something like that. If you look at photos of the classic castle, you'll notice it seems much larger than the rose gold castle does right now. This is because when you paint it a darker color, there's no longer that simulated fog or atmospheric distortion. There's no longer that simulated distance effect, revealing it to be much smaller than it looks when it is that lighter color. So that's another reason why I'd really like to see us go back to the regular castle. I know a lot of folks disagree. I respect that. Those are my thoughts on the rose gold castle situation. This is a developing situation. We'll see the extent of the paintwork that Disney does. They're definitely going to have to do some. The moat is almost done being drained, and over the coming days, we'll begin to see the decor removed, and we'll see the extent of the sun damage on the paint. Perhaps there will be none, perhaps there will be a lot, but we will see how that all pans out. Before we head over to Epcot, something else in the Magic Kingdom area I wanted to touch on. The new Polynesian DVC tower is rapidly rising at the site of the Spirit of Aloha dinner show, the former show that Disney demolished to make way for this new giant tower. This giant concrete construction tower will be home to many DVC units featuring a fresh and modern take on the classic mid-century tiki theme. I don't understand why Disney thinks we need a modern version of something that is supposed to take you to another time and place. I have no idea why that is, but they seem intent on doing that, the hotel people. It's very strange and definitely not the right way to go about it, in my opinion. Taking a look at the concept art for the tower, you can see this tower looks quite generic. It looks like a nice hotel, a relatively nice hotel that you would find in an upscale shopping district, one of those lifestyle shopping areas. You guys know what I'm talking about, that you have in a lot of affluent cities and neighborhoods. That's sort of what it looks like to me. It looks like a really nice thing that you'd find at an exit on a highway in a nice area, you know, like more of like a nicer regular hotel, that type of thing. It's rather nondescript is the point. In Disney's defense, this concept art is a little old now, and it did get a lot of criticism, so I sincerely hope that they've done more work on the aesthetics since. This is supposed to be the tower for Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, which is an iconic resort that has a very distinctive style, so hopefully they do something about this here. Tons of work happening on this tower right now. We'll see how it pans out as work continues here. Last up, over in Epcot, guests headed into the park today and noticed something was missing. What is missing? What is missing in this picture? That's right, one of the taco-shaped screen barges from the concluded Harmonious show, which was intended to be the new permanent nighttime spectacular for the park. Disney has brought it out to the woodshed. The woodshed in this case is the backstage marina where a crane is staged in the area that Equatorial Africa was originally supposed to go. That crane will be dismantling each barge one by one, so Disney will bring another back and another back and another back, and while they're doing all of that work in the marina, Disney also has crews with floating cherry pickers out in the lagoon working on removing parts of the barges that are still sitting out there in the lagoon, waiting their turn to head back to the woodshed. So lighting elements as well as fire suppression systems and so on, they have already been removed from the barges that are sitting out there, and crews are continuing to work on those. And later this year, we'll be getting an all-new nighttime spectacular in Epcot, which Disney is doing the creative on as we speak. It sounds a lot like Harmonious again, where it sounds like it's going to be a lot of Disney intellectual property in a playlist, a clip show type of deal, like all of Disney's shows now, but I am optimistic that this show will have more Epcot in it, more nostalgia in it than Harmonious did. I do think that Disney learned their lesson on that front. And let's just say that the new show really ends up being exactly like Harmonious, which I would not prefer. At least we don't have those barges out in the water, so it won't be affecting the sightlines during the daytime. So let's say that you end up not liking the new spectacular. You still have a beautiful, beautiful Epcot to enjoy during the daytime. No oil rigs in the middle of the World Showcase Lagoon. So I think that's going to be very nice. So needless to say, this is a great change that Disney's doing here, and I'm quite excited to see those sightlines come back and also this new show premiere. I'm pretty optimistic about it. So that's the latest in the world of Disney today. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe with those notifications on. Thank you so much for watching. From the Mickey Views Magic Studio, this is Brayden. Have a magical day.